What up, what up, what up? Happy Monday to everybody. This is your boy Garcia, the barber. Talk your barber shit going live with another special guest. So I'm gonna let IG do what it do, send out the notifications, get it going. But I'm about to bring on my special guest. I'm gonna send a notification, let them know we going live so we can get straight to it. What up, Jay the barber? I see you, man. Definitely gonna reach out to you, send you a direct message so we can definitely get it going and put it together. So appreciate you tuning in. Just got done with a class today. Out there taking my skills to the next level. So I wanted to make sure that I made it back on time, and I surely did. What up? I see you, man. 2S Wild 24. All right, Roger. I see you trying to connect with me, so let me send the invite again. Should be able to join now. Let me know. Let me know if you have any issues, and then I can send the invite again. I know I see you on, but I don't know if you're able to log in. Nothing yet. Let me see. Okay, I sent the invite. Should be able to log in now. Let me know. I see it keep bouncing you back for some reason. Sent the invite. Should be able to log in now. Let me know. You you're on now.
I am on.
Okay.
You know what? I made an effort to do it from my computer, but it is not
See, keep
doing,
bouncing.
yeah, it's not doing what I needed to do.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's fine. It's
I,
okay.
we gonna make it work.
We don't have a choice.
Right?
It is what it is. That's all it's going to be, man.
I
How are
know,
you,
I
sir?
know. I'm doing well, man. I just want to say thank you for accepting my invite to come and tag along this journey with me with, my platform, Talking Barber Shit. And I just want to jump right into it, make it as quick as possible. My platform is about elevation, uplifting, taking our business to the next level, and having wonderful people like yourself show us how, elevate us, share information that is needed to keep pushing us forward as a unity and not separation in this industry. And also sometimes we have that um, channel that's being spreaded sometimes, and it goes throughout the world sometimes. We have our medium that people that want to work with each other, want to collectively grow, and then you have the other side that just want to see downfall, want to see hatred, want to see despise, want to battle against each other when it shouldn't be like that. And I want to speak on education. I want to speak on financing. I want to speak on leadership, and I want to speak on everything that I feel that would help, even myself, because I'm still learning. Every day is a learning experience, or someone that's coming up in the woodwork and that wants to learn as well, that's taking a different channel in themselves, maybe came from a different world, but always wanted to be in this industry, wanted to learn more about the industry, and want to see how they can make it work for themselves, and want to know what is the things they need to do to get to that next part of their journey and next part of their life. So let's talk about you. Let's get on the stage. Let's make it happen. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about where you're from. Tell me about everything and everything about what has gotten you where you at right now in this life.
You know what, man? Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me this evening. I got to be honest, man. You had a lot of good guests on, and I was like, "Dang, why Garcia ain't even hollering at me? Like, what's going?" I was a little salty to be. I mean, I was a little salty. You got some great. No, I'm just teasing with you, man. But yeah,
I
hey,
love
man,
it. I love it.
it's all good. But I was like, okay, maybe February. I don't know when we gonna ever get together.
Yeah.
But no, man, this is a blessing as well as an honor. I do want to say, just sometimes I think it's important. You mentioned how a lot of barbers are, just they hating on each other, and it's a lot of discourse and stuff like that, man. But I love to see young, affluent brothers like yourself, man, out there putting together their own platform, really making it happen, and giving people like myself a voice in the industry. So kudos to you, man. Keep doing what you're doing,
Thank you.
and keep living it how you give it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people out there that do podcasts and they do it for the clout. And I can honestly say that this is one of them that's not like that. So shout out to you, man, and your brain and your ideas for just keeping it a buck. Some people that's watching. My name is Roderick Samuels.
Right.
A lot of different layers to me, man. Man, let's see, where do we start? I'm originally from Somerville, South Carolina,
Okay.
part of the Low Country. If anybody's familiar with Charleston, South Carolina, I'm a little bit outside of Charleston. I started my first barber school when I was 26 years old. Next week I'll be 48 years young, so super
Yeah.
pumped
Right.
about that. And this is the only thing that I've ever done. I've never technically worked for anybody. And I've been a serial entrepreneur since age 19. I've traveled the world. I've taught on every stage from London to Japan. I write curriculum. I wrote, I don't know if you're familiar with the fundamentals of barbering, by Pivot Point.
Right.
I helped to write that curriculum. So shout
Okay.
out to Pivot Point for giving a brother an opportunity. I'm a subject matter expert in barber education. Got that title a couple of years ago too. Um, Man, North American Hairstyling Award, Educator of the Year. Um, for
All
the
right.
Professional Beauty Association. Yeah, man. I was nominated twice for America's Favorite Teacher through Reader's Digest. And I think it's kind of cool because a lot of times when people think about advanced education or higher education, they look at universities. But, being in trades was a very high honor for me as well. I'm the director of education at Hair Lab Detroit Barber School, where my wife and I we do our thing there. I've been married for 7 years.
All right.
My wife is a two-time North American Hairstyling Award finalist.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, wifey got it popping. She's actually the artist. I'm just the charisma. You know what I'm saying? I make people have a good time and make them
Yeah.
feel good. You know what I
Y'all
mean?
the yin and the yang.
She's more of the yin and the yang. I'm just happy to be here. I stay in my lane until it open up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, my daughter just graduated from cosmetology school.
Okay.
She's gonna be taking her boards on Wednesday and then her practical on Thursday.
Okay.
Just really, really
Congrats.
blessed,
She
man.
got it.
She don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we don't do that in our family, man. You make
Yeah.
you make A's, and
Yeah.
you don't. You make A's, go to school and do what you need to do.
Right.
Um, let's see, man. Yeah, she's going to be in the family. She's going to be in the hair family officially now. She was a hair baby. Um, I don't know, man. Today was just an amazing day. I got up this morning at around 4 o'clock. My students actually went out to the premiere show in Columbus, Ohio. Just one of the premiere shows in the Midwest. Super, super proud of my students, man. We took probably about 30 some odd students. And I don't ever tell my students to only enter into student competitions. You know what I mean? As someone who taught swimming lessons a long time ago,
Okay.
the only way you teach a kid to swim is you throw their asses in the water. So I'm like, I don't even tell them it's like a professional competition. I'm like, hey, so check this out. We're gonna do this competition and shit, right? So go ahead and sign up and just do it. And we got a first place and a third place today, and they're students, man. So ended up the day with that, man. Everybody's home safe and sound, so that was good. So I actually had a very, very long day, but it was gratifying, man, to say the least. But I am a barber. I've been an educator for quite some time. I'm one of the main stage educators for Wall Clipper Company as well. You don't see me too often at the Wall events because I think my day rate's a little too high. And yeah, I
As
don't.
they should be. As they
Well,
should be.
I got a pretty stiff resume, my guy. You know.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, couple hundred hair, a couple thousand, you know what I'm saying? But no, man, I didn't know this until he passed away, but my dad's biological father was a barber. So I'm
Okay.
getting all of these cufflinks and these hand clippers and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, man, I didn't even know this was going on. And he was like, yeah, your grandfather was a barber. So, to make it short, man, I'm a barber's barber, man. You know what I mean? And I love teaching. I love sharing and educating. I just wrote my first book that's going to be released here in the next month or so called The Silent Work. And, shout out to my mentor, Mr. Ivan Zoot. I think, it's important for us to all have different mentors as we come into certain areas of in our
Yeah.
career, right? So,
Yeah.
so when I first started cutting hair, my mentor was a gentleman by the name of Anthony Rivers. He owned Unique Cuts Barbershop in Ladson, South Carolina, and I didn't go to school. I did an apprenticeship. So when I was going around to some of the other shops in my town, and nobody would give me a shot, man. And luckily, and I think we can talk about a little bit about this too, relationships. My mother was a teacher in the public school system for 33 plus years.
That's where that
She
dope
actually,
education come from.
well, you know what though?
Yeah.
You know what, man? I get it two ways,
Mm.
honestly, man. So my mom was a teacher, and my dad is a minister.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
I can get teachy and preachy, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna hit you with the curse words because I love you. Then I'm gonna pray for you at the same time because some people
Yeah.
need Jesus. They need the Lord.
But
Um,
but I love that though because you can definitely when it comes to teaching, you definitely want to never want to keep it one sided. And when you
correct.
can develop and really touch the core of your class and really show them both sides of yourself and really touch their soul, that's what elevates the brain and really takes it to the next level. And I just wanted to share that book. Continue.
No,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. I kind of talk about that every day to my students. Control the head, control the body, right?
Yeah.
So, it's cliche, right? Whatever the mind can conceive, the body will achieve, whatever the case may
Mhm.
be. But nothing stands truer than in being in the barber industry. You know what I mean? There's a lot of talk about success and what it takes to be successful. But I
Right.
think from a grassroots level, it's what I'd like to coin the silent work, right?
Mhm.
You took a class today, and of course, that's not anything that I feel like you would just ultimately publicize, right? It's for your better good. You know what I mean? But I think that you taking the class to be able to service your clients better. That's the silent work. That's the stuff that nobody hears about, that nobody sees,
Right.
right? But
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you just continue to elevate as you come into the industry. So it was just really important for me to kind of shed a light on, you got all of these books out there for barbers, right? You got, how to be a good barber and, 6-figure barber,
Right.
things or whatever the case may be. That's my mentor, man.
Yeah.
It's great. He has inspired me to write and to share my story. But I think from the barber aspect, nobody's talking about the grassroots level of education, right? Everybody, all the shops in and around metropolitan Detroit, they want barbers, but
Yeah.
nobody's willing to give up their time to help to train the barbers, right? Like there's such a huge shortage of barber instructors, not just here in Michigan, but all over the
Cross the
country
map.
because
Cross the
man, it is
map.
it is the but it's not just in trade.
Yeah.
It's also in early childhood education. It's in post secondary. It's
Yeah.
all over the place. And I know you got a ton of questions, but one thing before we kind of jump
No, no,
into it
keep
is,
keep going. You already answered.
well, you know what though, I really want to inspire and
Yeah.
challenge some of the
Yeah.
some of the barbers out there that's listening to this
Yeah.
podcast to really think about the next generation of barbers that are coming into our industry, right? There's a lot of talk about about mentorship and some of the OG barbers, right? And I'm gonna put OG in quotations. Some of the OG barbers are saying that we don't we the younger barbers don't have mentorship. Well, you know what the perfect place to do that is? It's inside of a school, right? But sometimes people think that I always tell my students, and I kind of live by this too: money and numbers follow; they don't lead.
Mhm.
Right. So if I'm going into teaching or working at a school just for the money, then that's not going to make me excited. That's not going to keep me doing what I need to do. It's definitely a passion project. And it's just something that you just genuinely have to love. You have to love people. One of my mentors, Eric Fisher, always says, we're not in the hair business, we're in the people business. And once you get an
Yeah.
understanding of that aspect of the industry, that we are, John Mosley said it best. He said we are selling an emotion. It's not about the haircut, it's how we make people feel,
Yeah.
right? So if we get more people that have that business acumen, that want to see our industry thrive and not die, go to a barber school, mentor some of the students. Don't worry about the money. The reward is in the product that you get out. That person that was sleeping in their car, that person that was
Yeah.
riding the bus to get to school. When you
Mhm.
see that person go in and start their own barbershop or start their own school or their own product line, that is the biggest sign of mentorship that you can think of. The other thing about mentorship is, I think that it gets lost in translation because mentorship doesn't come with a dollar amount. So you said talk your barber shit. So this is it. Here we go. So I've had several mentors over my career, and this is going to be year 30 for me being in the personal appearance industry. These women and gentlemen, whether they be white, black, Spanish, Puerto Rican, plaid, or Argyle, they have never charged me a dime for mentorship. Now, I'm sure that there's some great platforms out there that, you pay a couple dollars and they give you some bullet points. But the idea behind mentorship is not to give people a step by step to what you did to get to where you need to be. It needs to be a very philosophical, psychological breakdown of who you are as a person and what you're willing to do to get to that next level, whatever that is, right? You know, um, I always want people to become teachers, right? I'm so stupidly optimistic sometimes because I'm like, man, you should teach. You should be a teacher. You should, and not everybody's meant out to do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Some people are just really set out to work behind a chair the rest of their life, and that is fine. Our industry needs those people. There's clients that need those people, but for the people who really want to elevate, and they look at our industry not just as a box to check, but something that's going to give longevity to the people who are not geared for 4-year university, for the people who may not have the best acumen when it comes down to education, right? We get the misfits, man. We get the people that are artists and so driven to be something that they never even thought that they could be. So, I want to challenge people, man. Let's get out there. Let's work at barber schools. Let's mentor the next generation of students, and let's really pay it forward, man. My dad, who is a Baptist preacher, he'll always say, you know, sometimes you can't get paid for everything you do, and it really never struck into me until I started working with students outside of school and taking those late night phone calls from my students when they having baby mama drama, or the baby daddy is doing some ratchet shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm picking up the phone. I'm like, I don't have a DNS or a do not disturb on my phone, right? Because education and leadership, it's a it's airport hours, man. Like Jesus say, it's Sunday to Sunday.
Right.
Shout out TM 103. but gotta love Jeezy, right? He was just in Detroit. But yeah, man, I really want to encourage the next generation of educators and leaders. Get inside those schools, man. Don't worry about the money. That's going to come. But when you start to really delve in and help to cultivate the next generation of leaders in our industry, there's no amount of money that's worth that for sure. It's literally the most priceless and selfless thing you could ever do.
Damn. Like, where do I start from all that delivery, man? That was amazing. Um,
I got to do this for a living, man.
I-
I
but you're right on the noggin with it, and what I say is that I preach this in a way because I'm newly into this industry, and
sure. What do
I
you
like
call
to
new?
share that.
When you say new? What do you call new?
Like I probably now, not just like the extended as far as like this cutting, or I'm talking
Sure.
about professionally with my license. I'm
Mhm.
like 5 years in.
Okay, man. You
Yeah,
still wet behind the ears, man.
yeah,
Welcome.
yeah.
It's all good. The ink on your license might not even be dry yet, Garcia. What's going on?
So I came from the business side of the industry. I worked in the corporate world for like 11 years. But like you said, always had an artistic side of me.
Sure.
I worked in the industry of film. Um, After I left, during the time I was there, I also designed clothes. I built a
Okay.
brand for myself well enough to get notarized on the news. Um, did a lot of major fashion shows, but before COVID hit, I was coming to a stagnant part where I was trying to figure out my next moves and what I really wanted to do, how I want to elevate my brand. Did a big fashion show on my own, but like I said, when you're looking at longevity and you're looking at like how can I use this to place money, but also take care of my family, also take care of myself. What can I do next?
Right.
So this wasn't even brought up to me like once. It was brought to
Mhm.
me multiple times because I grew up with my mom that not was a hairstylist, but she almost was a hairstylist because
Right.
she did a lot of things with her hair, how she had to take care of herself, how she had to take care of her hair. So I was always around it. I had a cousin that did braiding. She didn't
Mm,
become a licensed braider, but she was an amazing braider. So I was always around that, helping them take out the individuals and all this other stuff like that, or being
that's
almost
right.
the replacement model for my mom when she needed to figure out stuff. So I was always in this realm, but I just didn't see it. Then I had
Right.
a girl that I was dating when I was working at this corporate world that said, "Hey, you ever thought about getting in the hair industry?" No, I ain't trying to hear that. Later
Mm,
on, that my lady who I'm with now, you ever thought about getting in the hair industry? And they always had a friend that was already in the hair industry doing
right.
amazing things. So I'm like, okay, let me jump into it. I mean, somebody's talking to me, and I better hear it
There it
because
is.
it
There it is.
was years apart when I kept hearing the same thing. So it's
Right.
like I'm gonna deliver it to you, like you said, like a pastor. I'm gonna deliver it to you the first time. If you ain't paying attention, I'm gonna bring it back, but I ain't gonna bring it back right now or right when you need it. So he
You know
brought it
what?
when, yeah,
Can I just? I didn't mean to cut you off,
yeah,
but sometimes, man, listen. If you can't have a testimony without first having a test, right?
yeah.
Listen, man, this divine intervention. If people sit still just for a minute and watch the things that are going on in their lives and listen to those voices and those people that are speaking, man, listen, you had some praying moms and grandmas and aunties, right?
Right.
We all did. I can tell you're a mama's boy. Me too. Shout out to mama's
Yeah.
boy. Yeah, yeah. I told somebody the other day, I was like, man, you know what, man? I'll beat you down over my granny, but I'm gonna fuck you up over my mama.
Right.
Please believe. Yeah, whatever, West Side Gun. Boop, boop, boop,
Yeah,
boop.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
But but I,
do.
but
100%.
but the universe is moving, man, and I think that your story is probably probably just like a lot of other barbers out there, right? So I'm glad that we are having this conversation because I think a lot of times, especially doing what you do, doing what I do, man, leadership is lonely.
Yeah.
right? A lot of people, they're not going to understand, why you move the way you move, and how you do the same thing. That level of that level of discipline that's needed in our industry. Sometimes it causes separation, not necessarily something that you particularly want to do, but I think sometimes in order for you to really get to that next level, man, you got to spend that time by yourself, and you got to have good people. And can I just say this? You did not mention one man.
Yeah. Right. Right.
What? What do you? I'm a girl dad, man.
Right.
Listen, there. And I don't even know if this is your show has ever been. We talk things relationally, right? But I can honestly say, man, I and this don't take nothing off of me as a man or whatever the case may be, but I can honestly say, man, had it not been for the strong women in my life that would hold me down when I was low, and it would build me up and give me that level of confidence that I needed to get over, minor setbacks and hurdles, man, there's no telling where I would be right now. You know what I mean? So for all the lady listeners out there, man, thank y'all for holding us down. I know that y'all don't get paid what you should be getting paid,
Right.
especially in
Right.
this industry,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? My wife and I had a conversation the other night. She said, you know what? It's kind of crazy that our industry is dominated by all of these women, but ran by some men.
Great. Yeah. Facts.
Well, this is talk your barber shit. So let's dig in. As you would say, let's dig into it, right?
Right.
But no, man. You know what? I honestly love that for you, man. And it's grouping yourself around really really good people, man. Just and being careful who you share your information with. I talk to my students about this all the time. When everybody's sitting on the porch drinking a 40, smoking a joint, whatever the case may be, right? And everybody's right here. Everybody's smooth, everything cool, right? When it appears, it don't even have
Separation.
to be that. Come on, man. When it
Yeah.
appears that you're doing just a little bit better than that person, man,
Yeah.
you're gonna start to see them tides change.
Oh yeah.
And I
Trust. I did.
well,
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
but I think that's why. But I think that's why you, in your short time in the beautiful, the best industry in the world,
Right.
has been able to succeed so quickly because you were laser focused on what you had to do versus what you thought that other people thought that you should do. Right? You got to make a choice, or a choice to be made for you.
Mhm.
And sometimes that choice, it may not be the favorite to everybody else, man, but as long as it's good to you, and you believe in it, and just go at it full force, man, I can honestly say, man, you can literally do whatever it is that you want to do with your life. 3 words, man. I tell my students this all the time: show up, work hard, and listen. You can do those 3 things, and it doesn't matter what industry you work in, man. You can move mountains, Usher. You can do some really dope shit, man, if you show up, work hard, and listen. That's all it takes, man.
Let me ask you this real quick.
Yeah.
Being someone that's in this industry as a developer, a speaker, and also someone that's willing to uplift and help the mindset understand what they can do and take it where they need to take it. Being a teacher, being a guidance, a guide, almost like a counselor, because you're counseling in this field as well. What is it, like you said, you would like to see more of people just taking a stand and initiative just to come and help without thinking like, oh, I got to get paid for this? How do we get to that point right like that? Because now we're more driven in this industry because it's now being seen as a money grabbing industry. So everybody is like, I can make this, I can do this, I can live like this, but we're forgetting about the fundamentals that even got you to this point. So now the people that are looking at social media or looking at YouTube, they're just looking at it as a money grabbing industry and not a industry that can be something that can be longevity, can help you, maybe your child's dream, that child's dream, and take it to the next level.
You know what? That's a really good question. And I'm gonna say Collaboration over competition. It's the first thing that kind of come to my head. Um, Even though we may work in the same industry and your barbershop may be, you know, couple blocks down the street, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have a conversation. That doesn't mean that, we should price gouge and, oh man, what they charging 50 over there? Shit, man, we're going to charge 40, right? That whole back and forth thing, man, it literally devalues everything that we work hard for. If you want to dial it back a little bit to, to schools and to students, I make an effort every day to live in the mindset of every student, every day, whatever it takes. Right. For the longest time, man, I used to live in this bubble where I thought that everybody had the same drive and determination as me, and but just do it, right? Just do it. But it's not. That's not everybody's reality. So, I found myself educating myself on being a little bit more socially and emotionally adapt to Gen A, Gen Z, right? Millennials. So many times, I think those generations, especially, get such a bad rap. Oh, they're lazy and they don't want to do nothing and they're stuck to their phone. But in education, I'm not allowed to pigeonhole myself into one way of thinking. I'm not allowed to just say, "Oh, well, it's my way." As our parents used to say, "Do as I say, not as you see." Right? I'm like, "Well, damn, mom, I want shit. I'm gonna drink a couple beers too. What's going on with it? You know what I'm saying?" Mama got the 22-ounce Budweiser. Shit, I want to get a little sip too. Um, but I think that, instead of telling people what they can't do, let's push into their minds what they can do, right? And I know, I've traveled all over the country, but I know, especially here in Metro Detroit, man, Detroit has we got a certain amount of barbershops and shop owners that, you know, they look at each other as competition. They got a couple of schools that may look at each other as competition, but in my mind, man, because I show up, work hard, and listen, um, I'm not competing with anybody. They're competing with me. They're competing with my students, right? And I make sure every day, man, I talk to my students about being high level performers. That's the only thing that's going to get you and get you to where you need to be, especially in these days and times with the economy, right? If you know that you got a group of students that, right now we had about 50, 55 students, right? I need to get out in front of this and tell them, hey, listen, you know what? When you go into this industry, um, and it's possible, by the way, because I've done it a couple different times through, economic downtime. This is the best time to be a barber. This is the best time to be a barber because now we need to collaborate, right? Hey guys, let's all the barbershops in the 10-mile radius, let's all get together. And I learned that from my first mentor, Anthony Rivers. Me and him would get in his car and we would drive to every barbershop in and around Somerville, South Carolina. And we would sit in there, yo, man, what's going on? Hey, man, we thinking about going up on prices. Yo, man, what you going up to? Man, we going up to 25. I bet we going to 25, right? That cuts out the competition. We can all make money because if you understand that your vibe attract your tribe, it's not going to matter how dope your haircut is, right? People want to mess with me because they like me. They like the way I do. And by the way, I am not the best hair cutter. I'm decent now. I'm halfway decent. Got a couple of awards and stuff like that. Ain't nothing real heavy. You know what I mean? But for
Let,
me, it's about being a lifelong learner, man. Every single day, lifelong learner.
let me ask you this. So I like the direction you're going in as far as like community based barbers working alongside and developing the mindset of like how to measure what we're putting out and how we put it out.
Hmm.
But how do we get to that point where it needs to be done properly in the schooling? So like say like I know majority of it is just to go to school and pass your exam.
Hmm.
But why are we not teaching more of the basis of what needs to be done in school? So now we having the bickering back and forth, like you said, about who craved the best fade, who did this, who did that. But why are we not coming together and going, hey, let's go to these schools, let's make sure that these students are getting the proper education that they need. So when they come out of schooling and they get in my shop, They understand leadership. They understand financial growth. They understand that we're all a collective team in here. Yeah, we under independent contract workers, but we working under a self environment household that's supposed to make sure that we're protected. We are
Mhm.
protecting the customers that come in, and we all like a family base. But all I'm hearing is bickering all on the internet about stuff that really don't make sense. I don't want to go really into it. I don't really care about it, but I'm just saying, like, if we're talking about the industry is growing and it's making money, then let's talk about how we can sustain this stuff and stop showing all the fashy stuff that don't really make nothing. Because once you drive it off the lot, it don't have no value. So let's
It
talk about
depreciates.
stuff that gives you value.
Right.
Creating a household, buying units, maybe buying another barbershop, or teaching someone that's under your establishment now how to be business sided. So when he leaves and go open up his own shop, he know how to open up a shop and know how to run it.
You know what, man? And this is probably going to sound like a brag, but at Hair Lab Detroit Barber School, we do all of that. We literally do all of that. So, we had a problem with a lot of our younger students being able to sit for periods of time with one instructor, right? So my wife came up with this very bright idea that we're going to go to a block system. So, I'm just going to run through a day at our school, right? And then that way, maybe this will help out some other school owners that are out there that are, you know, school barber schools get a bad rap, man. And I hate that shit because I'm not that barber school. We're not that barber school that just, we get teased online, talking about, if we do perms and puzzles and what was it? It was perms, puzzles, and working on mannequins. That doesn't make you a great barber. I think that's the shit that really makes you a good barber, right? Because if you think about puzzles, if in fact that was true, right?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but think about it like this, right? If we work on puzzles, what am I teaching my students? Problem solving, right? I think in life you need to learn how to problem. There's never a problem without a solution. So we're teaching them problem solving skills. That is one of the evil necessities of running a barbershop, running yourself, and making money. Like you have to be able to solve problems. If we're working on mannequins, right? We had two students today that competed in a professional competition and won first and third place. So that mannequin work, them fucking up the heads on the mannequin, actually helped to build them up to be able to do their work more efficiently and more effectively. And now we don't have to get bad reviews on our Google page because they didn't have the necessary practice, Um, and I don't know, man, just learning about chemicals, perms, relaxers. I think that's so important, right? Because, in order to make it, especially during a recession and what type of, economic downtime we may be facing, you have to have a multiplicity of skills. My students learn starter locks. Man, I've never seen so many dudes in a school that's
Right.
like, yo, let me get that blowout, let me get that silk press. And I'm like, yeah, boy, get that silk press, boy. He's like, Sam's, if I can cut, if let's say, so we teach color. We teach
Mhm.
color, not just theory. We actually teach color, right?
Okay.
Light foiling. We teach textured hair. We teach starter locks. We teach lock maintenance. We talk about, we do braids. We do straight hair. We do textured hair. We do white, black, Spanish, Puerto Rican, plaid, argyle. And it's not my black students only working on black clients. I literally throw my white students to the black clients.
Mhm.
And they love it. You know why? Because they're educated and they understand what it looks like. We have three different class periods throughout our day. We have clinic floor, and that's where they go out. We have standard lessons every day. At our school, we go from long hair to short. So you won't get to learn how to, if you don't already have a basic skill set, you won't learn how to taper until 3, 4 months into the program. That's very much so on purpose. If the idea is that as barbers, right, it's been pigeonholed into this ego masculinity things, but if you really look at the history of barbering, we was the ones doing perms and relaxers,
Yep. Yep.
right, before cosmetology. So listen, stop it. Stop saying that barbers is just dudes just working on dudes. Hey, that's not it. It's not
Yeah.
what barbering is. Read the history of barbering, but only in pivot point. Right. Said that. Another shameless plug. So you go to practical, right? You work on
Yeah.
practical for 2 hours. We do our sanitation. Then you go to theory, right? Our theory teacher is an OG, Dr. Wood. He's been in the game for a long time, and he actually had his doctorate in barber sciences, which is great, right? Then we go to another class that we have. It's called professional development. Now, this is where it really gets crazy, right? We teach our students social and emotional intelligence. That's one of our, we actually have a curriculum that teaches our students social and emotional intelligence. Then we follow that up with the business training, legendary customer service. We have workshops on cutting trend hair, right? The curtain bangs, blowout tapers, whatever the case may be. And they're working on mannequins. We talk about taxes, how to file properly, what a 1099, to your point, what a contractor looks like versus being an employee. Like all of these different things that most barber schools just don't teach. Most barber schools teach, hey, we're going to get you to pass this test and this license,
Well,
and that's it. That is not who I am as a person, and that's not the type of product that I want to bring out.
let
If
me
you
ask
think
you this
about,
real quick.
yeah, for sure.
Being an educator and being in this field, how is it how is it working for you, or do you feel like more of a decline now since hours have changed? Like now, I don't know if it changed for you, but I know in California the hours
I just had a drop.
yeah. So
Yeah.
how are we able to change the narrative or create more education or better mindset when the person is leaving the school to go into a shop or maybe its own private salon to have the full development to keep their business up and running if they're trying to eliminate the whole concept of education and development?
You got to get creative, man. You got to get really creative with it. And I think that, most people who run schools, they're not barbers. Or most people who own barber schools, I mean, it's a couple of guys out there like Will Stam, myself, you know what I'm saying? A few other ones that William Graham, my guy, I think he on live right now too. But you got people who are just there because they see the bottom line, not necessarily because they care about the industry. So we need more barbers, more licensed barbers to go out there and to start schools. Now, you talk about hours, right? So Michigan, Ohio, we have, and we're right close to each other. We have 1,800-hour programs, right? When you got an 1,800-hour program, it's not necessarily the length of time that's in the program. It's about what you can fit inside that program. What we do on a daily basis, man, if I only had 1,000 hours to do it, that's probably dangerous for me, to be honest with you. Because now you're going to have triple OGs coming right out at 1,000 hours that understand how to run a business. On Fridays on our clinic floor, we have what we call student leaders. I just kind of hang out behind the desk. The students run the clinic floor. They got to meet the clients. They ask the client for beverages. They go through the consultations with the other students. They actually go through and they give check marks on, they check the haircuts. Listen, my job as a leader is to create more leaders. It's not to bring out somebody that's robotic that can follow everything that I tell them to do. It's about being creative and finding your own niche, your own way. So tip number one, schools need to be a little bit more creative and a little bit more flexible in their curriculum and education. Tip number two, it works until it doesn't. My wife say that all the time. She's like, it works until it doesn't, and when it doesn't, we're going to pivot and we're going to burn this shit down and we're going to start all over again, right? Tip number three, get you some younger barbers to come into your schools. If you do what's asked of you, it's not selling out, it's buying in, right? And when you buy in, whatever you want on this industry can be yours, man. I want to share this with you, man, and then I would love to get back on with you in a
Yeah,
little bit. But I
we gonna
want,
continue this.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, and this time you just say whatever you want to say, and because I feel like I control the conversation.
No,
Because
no, no, no. You good, but we definitely go. We gonna make a part two to this.
well, you know what, man, and I know my students hate when I do this, but I have to do this because I think that this is a significant testimony of show up, work hard, and listen. And if you do what's asked of you, it's not selling out, it's buying in. One of our students, man, he goes, and you guys can give him a follow. Buttered by Tweez. He posted something on his Instagram stories the other day, and he was just saying how He came into barber school at the right time. He said, man, he said his classmates, he said he's never been so inspired to learn new things. And he said, to your point, he said he was one of those people that already had a skill set. He was just coming in to get his license and, to finish his hours and do what he needed to do. He's since found such a love for learning, and his classmates and us being creative in what we do and having young, eager instructors that are doing things that I don't do, right? They're inspiring our students in such an amazing way. Today, around 4 o'clock, this gentleman sat on the stage with 10 others, two other barbers that were students, his classmates. One got a third place, one didn't place, but that's okay because he put it out there. But he went against six other professionals and won. Control the head, control the body. We talked about that earlier, right? Show up, work hard, and listen. We talked about that, right? I don't want to get emotional, but at the end of the day, man, when you teach and you start to see those things that you like, man, this student just isn't getting it. They just not doing what I need him to do. And today they taking the bus down. All I see is these trophies, and I see my students happy, and I see our instructors that took their own time in their own day to take them to Ohio to compete and go to their first hair show, man. Take your students out of the state. Show them what the industry really has. Feed into them. Every student, every day, whatever it takes, doesn't matter. In education, man,
It's a
it's
beautiful
not an
thing.
option. It's a must, man.
Yeah.
And I just want to say I'm proud of my students, man. Tweez, Tom, Enoch, man. I love y'all. All of my instructors, Miss Ashley, Mr. Darrell, Mr. JT, Dr. Wood, man. My mission team, man. I can't tell you, man. I'm so blessed to have one of the dopest, forward-thinking, socially mature people team in the country, man. Hairline Detroit Barber School. That's where it's at. Shout out to Detroit. What up? 313. What up, though? That's it. That's all
um,
I got.
I just want to say, man, I can't wait till we continue this because we're gonna run this back again. I
Yeah.
want to say thank you for taking time out. And I know it's been a long time waiting to get you on here, but I'm looking forward to having you back and we're going to really crush it again. But the information you shared today and the time that we had was truly amazing. I love your gift. I love what you're offering and what you're sharing with the world, especially with your platform, especially with your school education, your books that you're dropping. I just want to say this was what I wanted, what I needed, what I bring to this platform, and what I want to continue to do is show elevation, great mindset, great development of who we can be, what we offering, and what we are striving for in this industry. So
You know what, man? I just want to tell you, and this can go for anybody who watching your live right now. Closed mouths don't get fed.
yeah,
Right? And I'm not saying I'm the cat's meow by any mean, but I know a lot about nothing. You know what I mean? I know a lot of things, man. And if I can help anybody that's on this podcast, I don't care if they watch it tomorrow or 10
yeah,
years from now,
yeah.
message me. I want to help our industry. And by the way, mentorship for me, it don't cost nothing.
All right.
Don't cost nothing. I want to leave you with this, man. For those of us who like to read, one of my favorite books is Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And he says that there's nothing in this world that I can't do something about. And sometimes I have to adjust myself to unpleasant situations so it doesn't steal your spirit. Don't let nobody steal your spirit. Talk your barber shit right now. It is what it is. Let's go.
Let's go, man. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you,
I'm
man.
a DM you, and we gonna
Yeah.
set up another time where we can get it going again. But I just want to say this was truly awesome, and I thank you for taking your Monday out for me and being on my platform and speaking your truth.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. Love you, brother. Be
All
blessed.
right, all right. Have a great one.
All right. Peace.
Bye. I want to thank everyone that tuned in, that had the moment to share what I'm creating, what I am sharing, what I am developing. Long time coming, but I want to continue this. I want to strive more and more to bring individuals like I have from the beginning to now and keep elevating, keep sharing information. If it's anything that you guys would love for me to impact more on, this platform is for you as well. You can DM me if it's somebody you want me to have on the show and you would love to see them on this show too. Let me know. I'll try my best to reach out to them, talk to them, and see if we can get them on. But yeah, let's keep growing. I usually leave these videos on here for a while, and then I take them off, and then I put them on my YouTube page, so you can watch them. You can fast forward, rewind, and share, and watch them in class. So thank you all for always tuning in, showing me love, and let's keep going. All right, I'm out. One love. Talking barber shit. I'm out.